So it's been a while since we've met. We didn't have a meeting in December. So hope everybody had a great holiday. Hope Santa Claus came down the chimney, spread his generosity, and hope everybody had off to a good start. We got just a couple of housekeeping things I need to take care of, so let me get through that. For those of you that are doing the Jumpstart class, Friday, at this Friday at 11 o'clock, Thursday at 11 o'clock, Thursday 11 o'clock. Birthday Friday, the 26th, at noon at the office, birthday Friday. For those that don't know, it's with sad news that our own Bethany Jones will be leaving us for bigger and better things. Her last day will be on the 24th of this month of January. We will talk more about that, but I have to tell you, was she terrific, and is she terrific? And we'll talk more about Bethany, but Bethany has certainly taken that position to another level that we've never seen before. So, and the good news, if you haven't met Juro, please stand up, Juro. Juro is our new executive full-time. As he's training, just be a little patient. He's a sharp guy, and he'll get it. Just needs to learn a lot of things. So you'll see him at the office every day now. It's starting already. Since we have met last, we have a lot of new agents. If you're here, just please stand up if you're here. Amy Dillon, Jennifer Earps, Justin Bemis, he's up in Flagstaff, Carolee Hoth. 30 seconds, tell us who you are.
Carolee Hoth, moved here 4.5 years ago from Omaha, Nebraska. Used to do commercial work for the telephone company many moons ago. So switched gears and just moved here, and I'm enjoying this very much.
Welcome.
With the team with Deborah Adamson.
Welcome aboard. Lisa Kuhlman, Troy Martinez, Katie White, all new people.
They're all out working.
Milan Brick.
Milan's here.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Sonny. Hey, guys. Milan Brikic. I moved here from Europe 12 years ago with my wife Anita. Joined Remax about a month ago now.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome. And welcome aboard, you guys. And Anita, of course. Jason Schaefer, are you here? No. Johnny Miller? No, I didn't see you. Robert Gemmel? Matthew Rosenberg? A lot of newcomers, there you go.
Matt Rosenberg, just moved here from Chicago, joined the Highway team.
You have 20 more seconds. New real estate. Sandra Allen? Okay, well, welcome aboard, everybody. Couple of accolades to announce. Janelle Cedillo, are you here? Happy 10 years with Remax Corporation. She's celebrating 10 years. Carolyn Long, I didn't see you. She's celebrating 5 years with the corporation. Jamie Schertz, 5 years with Remax.
Longest relationship I've ever had.
I am. Yes.
Amy Maynard, did you see? Amy, are you here? Amy's also celebrating 5 years. A couple of corporate awards. We'll talk more about this as we get closer to our awards banquet in March. But I may have mentioned Deborah Adamson in this past year achieved the Hall of Fame award with Remax Corporation. Shannon Quagliata, I saw you. Where are you? Stand up. Congratulations. Hall of Fame award. Reached that in 2017. Terry Forsberg, I didn't see you. Congratulations. You've also reached Hall of Fame award. So we'll talk more about that. Amy Maynard, stand up. Congratulations on 5 years with Remax. Thank you for your service. I just got this last night, so I'm going to be 30 seconds. I got the top 100 from Remax, the top 100 individuals and top 100 teams in the Southwest region just for the month of November for production. So I'm going to need to read the names off really quickly. Liz Whitman, Christy Ryan, Heidi Majidi, Jamie Schertz, Diane Mitchell, Kenny Malik, Doug Eggleston, Christine Espinoza, John Trischetti, Sonny Malky, Antonio Guerrero, Eileen Taggart, Dan Kohler. Top 100 in the Southwest region for production in November. Well done. And by the way, of all the Remaxes in the Southwest, we had the most in that list.
Yeah.
4 teams.
Yeah.
4 teams. We had the Wayner Group, the Rounds team, the Matheson team, the Bonnie Burke team, we had Jeffrey Barchi team, the Zabo group, the McDonald group. For production November, more than any other company, Remax Fine Properties. Okay, so congratulations to all of you guys. So, I sat up all last night thinking, how do I introduce our speaker? Because we are just super lucky, super, super lucky. And I thought of it, it's fabulous. And I'm stealing it from David Letterman, has a brand new show. And David Letterman's new show is called My Next Guest Needs No Introduction. So there you go.
I thought this was 3 hours on fair housing. Am I in the wrong class? Does everybody bolts? There was a handout passed out. Did you have a chance to get that handout? It's this one that has the diagrams and charts and all of those things. I may have run a little short. I ran 70 copies, but I think we're okay. We're all right. Anyway. It was November, just a few months ago, and I was at a 3-year-old birthday party for 3-year-old boys, and the mother said, could you gather the boys together and talk to them while we get all the things set for the food and for them to eat? So I gathered the boys together, 3-year-olds, and I said, let's look at the magazine, and it happened to be Sports Illustrated football players. Let's look at the magazine. Football player, and this is the helmet, trying to get him at least somehow taken care of. The 3-year-old boy with the picture takes his finger, Sports Illustrated magazine that I'm explaining, and he hits the picture. And I said to his mother, I don't mean to say this, but is there something wrong, or why is this kid hitting the picture? What's going on? She said he thinks it's an iPad and he wants to make the picture bigger. The world we live in today won't be anything like the world you see in a few years from now. It will not. It is changing so fast that we've got to keep up with everything on a weekly basis, or we're not in the game. I don't care what business you're in. The game is changing, as you well know, fast. So what I want to do in the time I have is kind of give you what's going on. Who sang What's Going On? Was it Marvin Gaye? I want to kind of give you an idea of what's happening, some of the things. Feel free to speak up. Feel free to ask whatever you like. The population of Arizona is now 7 million people. We have just reached 7 million. We are growing at about 1.8% a year, which is down from our but we're at a higher number to grow from. So we're growing at 1.8% of 7 million people, which is a lot, but it's nowhere near where we used to be. And the reason is that people get really hurt 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
They really got hurt. I mean, really got stung. And some people have never bounced back. And when you get hurt as bad as they did, are they reluctant to do anything? What was that saying? Help me. Is it once bit, twice shy? Was that how you used to say it? That once something happened, you're kind of reluctant to jump in. So we're not seeing the older people move as much. We're not seeing people take as many chances in moving. Plus, where are you going to get a job? Is that going to be an important part? So the movement of 1.8 is good. If this was Pennsylvania, would they have a parade? Because the eastern states are losing and the western states are gaining. By the way, you are going to get an influx of people from California like we have not ever seen before. They're leaving there, and I'm not telling you anything new. Gasoline at $4 a gallon because they raised their state tax on gas. The reason it's so high, they raised their state gasoline tax. Our gasoline tax is 18 cents a gallon. Theirs is bizarre, and people are saying, we are tired of, and where do you want to start to make the list? And you've seen the license plates around here. You've seen your buyers come from here. Our population increase is coming mainly from California. That's where it's coming from. And it's not going to stop. You know that. It's not going to stop. Now, the largest employer we have today is interesting. It is now called Banner Healthcare. See, we were Walmart as our largest employer, and if you've lived here long enough, the largest employer used to be Motorola. Motorola was, just say Motorola and leave. And that changed when we lost a lot of our manufacturing. It used to be Honeywell, GE, Allied, all of those places. And now Walmart has it's lost its place to Banner Healthcare because they purchased a place in Tucson called Tucson Medical, or University Medical. So they became the largest employer, and we are now a healthcare mecca. You want good health treatment? Come here. You want a knee operation? Wait in line in January, because they're coming in from all over the world. We have phenomenal healthcare. And by the way, healthcare has turned into a retail business. Healthcare is now retail. When you go down the street and look at the old Blockbusters, it's now an urgent care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see, urgent cares are popping up like we used to see the yogurt shops popping up, which, by the way, is excellent so we keep our health up. It really is good. But with the flu season going on, the urgent care was still 2 hours, wasn't it? I mean, it was amazing. The urgent care has taken over. The median age in Arizona is 35.9. California's median age is 35, dropped to 0.9. Now, what's interesting about that age, we're the 9th youngest state. See, we're not an old state. And to show we're not an old state, when we had the election for president, the TV would say, too close to call. Arizona's too close to call. We were always don't even bother. One of the largest blocks of voters we have is independent. Republicans still outnumber independents, but independents are, oh my gosh, I mean, it's massive, and understandably so. That's pretty much across the country. Except with independents, they can't vote in primaries, which is, you always have those problems where we are. 35.9 is interesting. Do you think it's older or younger than it was 15 years ago, our median age, 35.9? Is it older or younger?
Younger.
It's older.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you why. We're living so long. And we're having less children, so what happens? And by the way, with people coming here to retire from California, it may even go up more. See, we were at 34 years in 2000. 34. We've raised it to 35.9. We're still the 9th youngest because the whole country did this. Because we're having less children and we're living longer, so therefore we did change it. Now, 35.9 changes everything. Golf courses are struggling. 35.9, when you have conventions and you have a corporate style meeting, you don't go to the golf course, you go to Topgolf. Because in Topgolf oh, by the way, I did hit a ball once. But I was busy. See, we live in the world of experiences today. Starbucks sells an experience, they don't advertise. You stand in line for an experience at Dutch Bros. I made a mistake at school when I was teaching, and I said, I went to Dutch Brothers. And they said, it's Dutch Bros, bro. Did you know that? Did you know Dutch Bros was not Dutch Brothers? Did you know that?
No.
It's not. You never say Dutch Brothers. It shows you are old and ignorant. Maybe not in that order. 35.9 has changed golf courses. And what we're hearing from the appraisers is the premium we used to get for golf course properties, we're not seeing that premium hold as much. We're not seeing that premium being the stellar number it used to be. Golf courses are struggling to get players because the experience is too long, and you have a better experience at Topgolf in which you'd have to wait 3 hours on a Friday night to get in. Would you agree? You've been there? So you're seeing all of that going on with at least the golf course ideas. 35.9 changes our restaurants. It changes how we eat and where we eat and what's called casual dining. It's very casual dining now. So you're seeing that 35.9 is changing everything. They don't have to own something. They don't have to own it. They just have to use it and experience it. See, we used to own books. What are those things on your shelf? Those are my 400 books. And what do you do with them? I read them. And then what do? I put them back. And then what? I dust them. I have 2,000 books on my iPhone. What are these? CDs. What do you do with them? Well, if I can find a CD player, I will use it. Oh, I have 6,000 songs on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you want to be. They don't have to own it, they have to experience it. And that's going to change real estate. See, real estate is in for some major changes. There's already, there are so many things happening so fast. Our job is to be on the offense, but real estate is normally on the defense. Historically, we're on the defense. We've got to be on the offense. I'm going to tell you some of the things that are changing. The median price of a home in the Phoenix metro area, now the sheet I gave you says $245,000, which you could look at. But that price of a home brings in condominiums and townhouses. But the median price of a single-family detached home is running at about $260 when you take out condos and townhouses. Is $260 a decent number for a home? What do you think? Let's do this. Where are you coming from?
Yeah.
I'm coming from California. I'll buy 3. See, $1 million home in California, in San Francisco, you wouldn't live in.
Yeah.
900,000 in Silicon Valley. San Diego, 700,000. Have they priced themselves to where there are problems there?
Yes.
Washington, the state of Washington, $700,000.
Yep.
If you move out of the state of Washington and sell your home, you'll never be able to go back. Vancouver put a tax on people buying homes out of Canada, people that were not the Canadians, because we found people driving up the prices from Asia to park their money, but now that's slowed down. So you're seeing that they had a problem in Canada with all the people coming in. These prices were going crazy. Is our price of $260,000 still very within reach compared to other states?
Huge.
We're not the best, but we are pretty good. With the new tax law, we are going to benefit in this state more than most. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to benefit than most states are going to benefit there. Now, let's take a second here and look at the listings we have. That's the page that looks like this. I'm not sure why the staple's in the top right over there. I don't know why it is. I have no idea, but I have no idea why it's over there. Are the listings 8,308? Let me tell you what's good about these listings. The listings people give you today, do they have equity?
Yes.
10 years ago, did we have no equity and most everything was going to be a short sale or a bank REO property?
Yes.
You're getting people coming into the market today, new agents saying this, what's a short sale?
Yeah.
We lived through something called the RTC, the Resolution Trust Corporation, and many of you don't know what that is. That means we've gone way beyond it, and some people aren't going to know what short sales means, which means those days are kind of moving beyond. Is this the time to list your home for sale? It depends where you're going. Selling is easy. Well, not easy, but maybe selling is easy. But what's your plan B? Could it be you want to move up to a luxury home? Could it be good? So it depends what your plan B would be. Next page. The next page says sales. Our sales this year are going to beat last year, and our sales are very good. But here's the question you ask on sales. What's selling? Are they buying prime rib, or are they buying top ramen?
Yeah.
And we're going to look and see what they're buying. Does that matter what they're buying?
Yeah.
It matters. Yeah, it matters. It matters where the activity is for us. Sales. I want you to look at January of 2008. Can you see January of 2008, 2912? I don't know if you were in the business then. Lehman Brothers. In 2008, January, this month, 10 years ago, we didn't know if we were going to make it. 500, the stock market dropping every day, 500 points. New home builders were closing up their shop because they can't compete with foreclosures. We have Tiffany and Bosco doing 400 foreclosures a day. One law firm. 400 a day. We were done. I mean, we didn't know. We had no idea. We had no idea. If you had a house for sale, it had no equity. It just had no equity. So these sales have come back, and today, do we have equity? Who's not buying today? The Canadians. Why? Our dollar's too strong. The Chinese. Why? They put a restriction on how much money can leave China. Who's not buying today? The investors. See, we had the real estate investment trust come in 10 years ago or 8 years ago and bought 400 homes at a time. And they keep them and they rent them. Good. Was that a good deal? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Investors have moved on. Why? Because we're too expensive, more than we would be maybe if you went to Detroit or some areas there. They're a little more, that's a cheaper place to go. By the way, Detroit's coming back. Downtown Detroit has been revitalized, and that's good news. That's just good news all the way around. So these sales are good. Turn your next page. The next page says median price, and I told you was at well, this is 245, which brings in condos and townhouses. Okay, next page. This one's a little hard to read, but I want you to go to the left-hand side where it says 200 to 249.9 on the left side, and slide to the right to where you see the number. What does that say? 1,000? 1,000? 175, right? Okay. Are most homes being sold in the $200,000 to $250,000 range? Is that the sweet spot of Arizona housing? The problem is, try to find a house priced that way. Try to find anything priced that way. The next hot spot would be anything from 200 to 400. That's a hot spot.
Yeah.
We're also starting to see that the homes nobody looked at that were over 900,000 to $1 million in North Scottsdale that nobody looked at, they're now looking at.
Yeah.
Now, we've had price reductions, but here was the story we gave 2 years ago. If it's north of the 101, it's slow. That was 2 years ago. It's not true today. People are taking a look at it. Prices have come down a little bit, but they still have pretty good equity. Troon is an example. We've seen activity come in there that we didn't see 2 years ago. But I'll tell you something we don't want. Master bedroom upstairs.
Right. Right.
Oh, I got a beautiful home for you, but I got to tell you something. The master bedroom's upstairs, and what do they say? Don't bother.
Yeah.
I find in Fountain Hills, your price just dropped. Fountain Hills, it's going to be a tough deal. Am I going to step on his bagel? Did I come close to the bagel? He has a bagel there with cream cheese. I came that close to stepping on the bagel. Thank you for doing that. There's always one person looking after other people. Look after other people. But that is good.
Yes.
Look right here. Cash. Interesting thing about cash. Cash, how many sold? 1,158. Cash is dropping. Now, let me tell you why cash is dropping. There's other places to put it.
Yeah, money's cheap.
Now, let me tell you something interesting here. Real estate appreciates maybe 5-6% a year, depending where you happen to be. Stock market did 18%. But comparing real estate with the stock market is an unfair comparison. But nobody cares when you're making 18% if it's fair or unfair. Just give me the 18%. Stock market's too high. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it's too high. Everybody. But we're still making 18%. Right? Everybody knows it. Will there be a pullback? Of course. That's why it's called the market. Is real estate always a good, steady investment? But is the stock market right now looking good? I mean, you can't deny it. But it's a market. We have competitive investments. Conventional loans are how many? 32, 40. Let me tell you the beauty of Arizona. This is beautiful. These conventional loans are full dock loans. People are living in these homes. They're buying paint. They're buying lumber. They're hiring contractors. They're buying carpet. You know how many people have jobs because of us? You sell a house. You know what that does? It ripples into 20 different parts of the industry. But here's a concern. The new tax law is going to stimulate the economy. The Federal Reserve's job is to keep the economy in check. We expect this year 3 interest rate increases, maybe 4. So in the American economy, does one stimulate and does the other kind of temper? That's just part of how we work. But right now, our interest rate's fairly cheap at 4 point something percent. Now, specifically, we're going to be hurt a little bit here. The maximum you can write off in a home interest loan is $750,000. So for the average person in Arizona, will it not hurt them on their taxes because the average mortgage write-off is $750, and the average mortgage in Arizona is probably what? You know, I'm at $250, or you know what I mean. It's not going to hurt them. However, the people you deal with have a home here and a home in Flagstaff. You know what I mean? Second home. It's not $750 per home. It's $750 as an aggregate. So if you have a $750,000 home loan in Scottsdale and a $700,000 home loan in Flagstaff, you're not writing the interest off on that Flagstaff home because you're already capped out at $750. Could that hurt some places? Now, in Arizona, will the average homeowner be hurt? Absolutely not. Now go to California.
Yeah.
Now go to California. And the average homeowner in California, could they be hurt on the interest? Plus, you can take no interest deductions on home equity loans, period.
Everybody.
No matter what the home equity loan is, no interest deductions on home equity loans. But could the $750,000 make our state look attractive on deductions?
Yes.
But here's my personal view. I've never known a person to buy a house. You know what? You know why I'm buying that house, Bill? No, because of the mortgage interest deduction. I mean, I understand it, but you know what I mean? I don't know. Now, property taxes. Our property taxes are about 0.82% of the property value. About. New Jersey, 2.25%. New Jersey's the highest tax state there is. So now you go to New Jersey. Now you go to Connecticut and Vermont and Austin, Texas, where a beautiful home is $400,000 and the taxes on a $400,000 home are $11,000. Now hang on, they have no state income tax, but it's $11,000. Could Arizona be attractive? Because if you have a $9,000 tax bill in Arizona, you got $1 million house.
True.
So basically, could there be some positives? Look at the interest deduction. Look at the taxes. I mean, could there be positives if you're looking for positives opposed to the other states? The person who has a home here in Flagstaff will be hurt because if they have $1 million home here and $1 million home in Flagstaff, they can't write off more than $10,000 in taxes as an aggregate. So could that hurt some of the upper end if they have investment homes? It could. I mean, there could be a possibility of what that would do in the tax law that you would see there. By the way, if you have any questions or anything, just give me a holler.
I got it.
Yeah.
Is it $10,000 in property taxes or $10,000 mortgage interest deduction?
No, it's $10,000. Okay, the mortgage interest deduction is on $750,000.
Okay.
The taxes, property tax, it's called SALT, state and local taxes. So if you're going to pay the state of Arizona income taxes, if you pay state of Arizona tax, you could always deduct that tax off on your federal income tax. The tax you pay the state of Arizona and your property tax cannot be more than $10,000. So if you pay the state of Arizona $5,000 tax and your property tax are $10,000, you can only do $10,000. But the interest on $750, I'm not sure how much that's going to hurt us, but could that be a benefit for us? It could be. Now turn your page to rentals.
Real quick, Bill.
Yes,
Maybe
please.
it's a silly question, but so on the mortgage interest deduction up to $750, if you have a $900,000 loan, you can still deduct up to the $750, right? You're not like out of, you can't like.
That is correct. That is correct. Now let me do something that you just said that brought up something. The mortgage interest deduction is capped at $750 from the current million. Current meaning before the bill.
This is new.
But it's only for new loans that were originated after December 14th. So anybody that had a loan December 14th in the past, this does not apply to them. It's grandfathered in. You are correct. It's only the new loans. However, home equity loans apply to all home equity loans, no matter when they were created, no interest deduction. So home equity loans is a forward and backward. The 750 is only a forward. Different there. Now, on rentals, the rental market on this sheet shows 1,982 on the sheet. The rental market is very hot. I'm not seeing any. Are you seeing any problem with the rental market?
No.
Finding one. It says here 1982. Couple reasons this number's down. We have a what? Short inventory, scarce. But here's a bigger picture. They're not putting them in multiple listing. See, multiple listing is not your vehicle for rentals. Where would you go? 15 different places. Are we saying this? This marketing vehicle is losing its market share. That's the answer. Have you heard of blockchain? Blockchain in Europe? Yeah. The iPhone revolutionized the world. Would you agree? The next thing on the horizon that is being used in many parts of the country and in Arizona is called blockchain. This is the new iPhone. Transactions will be done through a blockchain website. Blockchain will have all of the county recorder information on it, no longer going to the county recorder. There'll be a transition from there to, the reason it's called blockchain, they have blocks of information kept on a chain. Sellers and buyers will meet through blockchain. Properties could go through blockchain. The purchase contracts we use will be called a smart contract. It's called peer-to-peer. You need to research blockchain because it's here.
Who regulates it?
Blockchain is regulated, basically there are no regulations right now. There's no reg. And if you would like to buy this house, the mortgage, research, everything is done through a central aggregate of information called a blockchain.
Who's putting it together?
The company that put it together, I have to go back and get its original name, but it's a company that started off in England as blockchain, and it's now being used in commercial real estate throughout the country, throughout Canada. The whole idea of a centralization, it's called peer-to-peer network, and real estate companies are learning how to adapt to something called blockchain. Everything will go, so you will have a property ID number, and you'll access the property ID number, which will give you a chain of title. And for somebody who wants to loan money as an investor, they will say, we are giving money called crowdfunding. They will loan the money using Bitcoin exchanges on what's called a digital wallet. It is all changing. it's a good thing because it's going to happen anyway. But we need to be aware when you're out with a client and they say, what do you think about blockchain? You need to be aware of it. We're going to be using what's called cryptocurrency. And the cryptocurrency is not going to be regulated by anyone. It's going to be a universal currency. Does it sound far-fetched? So did the internet. So did the iPhone. So did texting. We need to do some research on blockchain. You need to have discussion on blockchain. You need to look at the website, videos, so when you talk to your client, you're going to have to at least be able to say, here's what they're doing. There is an entity in town that has a blockchain office, but you're seeing things already start to develop. It's going to take some time, but that's the newest of the newest, called peer-to-peer transactions / Airbnb. If you want to buy a luxury home, you could go on the blockchain and say, I want to buy a luxury home with other investors, and you go in there and you grab your other peers through crowdfunding. So you could own a fractional interest in a, now here's what I don't know. How's that going to play with homeowners associations? How's that going to work? How's Airbnb work with HOAs? Not well. So we're seeing a whole new world coming in on blockchain, cryptocurrency, things that 3 years ago we would have said, what are you talking about? Oh, different situations.
Is it going to bypass the brokers and realtors?
It's only going to bypass the brokers who are not prepared. Right? Now the next thing I want to go to is this one here. Take a look at your next sheet, and what does it say? It says, after rental, you have what? Annual sales rate. When you have a buyer who says, what does your annual sales rate look like in your area? Look at how we're growing. Are we growing at a very healthy rate? A very healthy rate. So when someone says, you think I should spend my money in Arizona real estate, is this a very healthy rate? Slow, steady, healthy. Was this the doom and gloom days there? It really was the doom and gloom days there. Next page. Median sales price as of January 11th, $245, including townhouses. And the last page is, notice the trustee sales and foreclosures. How do foreclosures look? Non-existent. But I want you to be aware of one thing. When you have a trustee sale in a foreclosure, you're probably behind on your payments, what, 3, 4, 5 months? Where we're starting to see foreclosures pick up are on home equity loans that were interest only. Remember, home equity loans are good for 10 years, and after 10 years, they amortize themselves over the remaining 20. And we're seeing people now having sticker price shock on the home equity loans. So we're seeing a little bit of increase in that, but not much going in that direction. Now, a couple other things I want you to know before we kind of wrap up today. If you're going to find a market that's hot this year, it's the investment market. I'm going to tell you why the investment market is really, really, really the key. I want you to buy an investment house to rent. I want your property taxes to be $15,000. I'm just making this up. I want to get over 10 on the rental house you bought. I want your mortgage interest to be over 7. I want the loan to be over 750. In other words, I want to blow out of the new tax law. If you have an investment property, you can write off property taxes unlimited, because they're not considered to be a deduction, they're considered to be an expense. You see the difference? So if I own a home, I can only go 10,000. If I rent a home, do I have expenses of 11,000 in property taxes, all deductible because they're an expense? Mortgage interest, all deductible because it's a expense. Now apply that to commercial real estate. Apply that to investment property. Will they be able to write off everything with no limitation, because it's not a deduction, it's a expense. And all you're gonna do is come down to your net operating income. Huge for people in the rental business. So investments are gonna become so attractive in this state because there are no limits to those deductions. Now this,
Is that why it's getting so popular for investors to buy high-end homes?
Absolutely.
And then they're Airbnb and.
you buy high-end homes and you write off everything and you Airbnb it. Yeah, okay.
Won't let you.
Oh, they, yeah.
What I have learned, and I started doing this in 1978.
Before you get off that subject, so on being able to write up everything, is that strictly in Arizona?
No, that's
the
a
new-
federal law.
Okay, so it's not just for us?
Not at all. But we're so good because we're so affordable. But you can write off, so could people buy it, turn it into a rental, so they can get more deductions? Now, there's limits of how many days they can occupy it, a 14-day limit per IRS is all of that, but the investment stuff is pretty good. I started in 1978, and the manager we had of our office, he said this: you need a mentor. You don't have time to learn it. Things are moving too fast. That's in 78. That's in 78. We had pink pads, the pink message pads, while you were out, urgent with a. That was it. We had a dime in our pocket. We had no pagers. You're a pager. You're a drug dealer, by the way. You're a drug dealer, that's what you were. He said, "You don't have time to learn. You need a mentor." And what I have found out is we need to teach one another everything we know. You never be afraid to teach what you know, ever. I'm not worried about my competition. I'll teach you everything I know. I'll teach you everything I know. Teach one another, become a mentor to one another, because we don't have time to learn it all. Someone needs to get in there and help you. You said, what's this going to do to the real estate agent? People will pay for a good experience. The college kids at ASU, I ask them this question: how many of you eat out? How many of you eat out every day? We don't eat out. We have it delivered. 60% of them have them delivered. They want an experience of not only the spaghetti, but they want the spaghetti brought to them. People will pay you for a good experience. Technology will change. Peer-to-peer will change. Open Door will change. OfferPad will change. Zillow, blockchain, it's all changing, but the experience we give people, they don't remember what you said, and they don't remember what you did, but they remember how you made them feel. That's what they remember. That's what they remember. I welcome these changes because I know the fundamentals, as you were saying, and what works with people hasn't changed. And let me put it in bare bones, everyday, in your face example. You're with a client. I'm talking to you. And my phone rings. Moment of decision. Do I continue to talk to you? Or do I answer the phone? You've been there, right? There's that moment of, she says, do you want to get that? No, thank you, I'm talking to you right now. If you said, no, thank you, I'm talking to you right now, you don't need to send out postcards.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen when Delbert Rounds calls.
Okay. But isn't this something, does she remember how I made her feel? She really does. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on listing appointments with my team, and they're texting during the listing appointment.
Yeah, that's true.
And 90% of my team, as I'm communicating, are texting. And I leave mine in my car now because it's a distraction.
No, I'm talking to you right now, and you know what they're saying to themselves? Dang, I'm important. You have to give them that. You just have to give them that. And you learn that by making mistakes, which we've all made. And then we realize right now the most important person is you, and I'll call back later. You know who it was anyway? You know what the call was from? It was from Elizabeth saying, "Thank you for staying at our resort." Who is Elizabeth that keeps calling me? Sounds like she's about 14 years old. And I said, "I never stayed at your resort, Elizabeth." Then I realized I'm talking to a robot whose name is probably Bob. So I don't know what I'm doing. We are in such a great market and such a great company, such great things going on in our real estate business. It's just waiting for us to be the professionals that we are. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you know what, I got one for phenomenal. Is Paul Baker in the room?
I was just gonna say that.
Oh yeah,
Stand up,
good. Paul, you gotta give some kudos here. This is a crazy story.
Does this guy look familiar? But we're not sure he's telling the truth.
This is humbling and bizarre. This is just something. This is just amazing story here. This is just something else.
It is.
So for a multitude of reasons, I left Lincoln, Nebraska in 1983 with some unfinished business at Nebraska Wesleyan. And I've called this my bucket list for the last 2 or 3 years. And I'm finishing my degree right now at ASU.
Woo! I'm teaching a class at the business college, W.P. Carey. First day after Christmas, January 9th, and I look over there and I thought, what the? What the?
So 31 years ago, as I said in the little video, I was in Bill Gray's class to learn this business. And now I'm come full circle 31 years later to get my degree here at the end of the semester.
And that's his last class he's taking to get his degree. The last class he's taking is the one I'm teaching. 31 years later, the last. I thought, the only thing I can say to that is, wow.
Yeah.
But you know something? How does it make you feel? See, that's the aspect of, that's what we do. That's what we do. Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, so since we had so many people here today, and thank you all for coming out, we weren't able to actually put our normal tables around, so I'm just going to go alphabetically through our list about our vendors that make this happen. So AJF, we have Sharon.
Hi, everybody. Oh, we can talk?
You can talk.
All right, I can always talk. Wonderful to see all of you. I know the year is already starting off great. It's busy, and we're up to 14 inspectors and still hiring so that we can make sure we can serve you all well. So just let us know any of your issues and concerns. We're here to help. We're adding some more services, so stay tuned. And thank you all for great 2017. We're looking forward to this year.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Rebecca, back in Allstate.
Good morning, Rebecca Neesling, Allstate Insurance. Thank you so much for your referrals. If there is anything that I can do for you or your clients regarding homeowners insurance or rental insurance or flood insurance or anything on the insurance spectrum, please give me a buzz. Thanks.
Thanks. Deanne Martin, are you here with AZ? There you are.
Zing Realty Media. Remax Farm Property is my #1 client for 2017. Thank you so much for all your support. I built a company up. We now supply every market need that you need to list your properties, from drone to video, 3D Matterport, photography, the whole marketing package. So keep us in mind.
Thank you. Bethany, CNN.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. We have had a lot of interest in 110 Close Construction, which just launched that in our office. So if anybody has clients that need, that have a lot or are looking at lots to build on, we have that product available now.
Thank you. Ben, with Fairway.
Ben Tobias, Fairway Mortgage. For those that have met with us in the last month, thank you for your game planning on 2018. We've been doing some good business plans with some agents in the office. We'll keep reaching out to you guys to continue that if anyone wants to do so. If you have a primary mortgage go-to and you have a great business partner, feel free to keep us as a second opinion. We're available 7 days a week. We'd love to be able to earn your business, give your clients maybe a second opinion on estimates. A lot of flexible lending programs, so please reach out. Thanks.
All right, I just got my hand slapped and nobody knew it. So, Jill, Chicago title.
I was just going to give you a hard time, but maybe we can give an alphabet lesson on lunch.
I was going to wait till the very end because you're the one that helped bring Bill here. So,
thank you.
Good morning, everybody. So if you want a little bit more of Bill Gray, he's actually doing Code of Ethics this afternoon. We've had a few cancellations, so let me know if you want to come and hear what he has to say for 3 hours this afternoon. So we had a great year. Just want to thank everybody here who we worked with. You know, everybody should be doing their business plans, you know, last year, like fourth quarter last year. But obviously people are a little bit behind and everybody's busy. So if you need some help in kind of getting your world in order, we're here to do that.
And Holly Wilson, I hope I don't see you next month. I hope my baby's here before then. But anyway, just want to say thank you to everyone for a great last year and looking forward to a great 2018.
thank you. Going back to Fairway, Julia.
Good morning, Julia Walker, Fairway Independent Mortgage, wishing everybody a Happy New Year. Wanted to let you guys know that Fairway was #1 in financing resale homes in Maricopa County in 2017, which is great. We've also seen a lot of changes implemented in January, including increases in FHA and conforming loan limits. And bond loans have all changed across the board, so please reach out if you guys have any questions. Thank you.
And I don't see Mary Williams-Lake here. She was not feeling well, so she wasn't able to make it. Fidelity National Title. We have 3 representatives. Who wants to stand up first?
Jen Weller, please, we've got Dallas Griffin and my manager, Sharon Tribune, as many of you know. Please think of Fidelity Title when you're out there writing your contracts, and we are here to be your partner when it comes to your marketing, whether you need listing leads, buyer leads, or just to be more efficient. So thank you.
Thank you. Get your move on. Anybody from there? I met with Derek yesterday. He really wanted to say thank you so much for all the support that you give him. He said with our office alone, his business has exploded. So he really does appreciate that. He does a great job for us. And if you have anybody that you want to recommend, Derek is probably one of the better ones that I've ever worked with, at least as a mover. Home Point Financial. Both the guys back there.
Hi, Sean Woolen at Home Point Financial. Jason Glashow. Just wanted to say hello to everybody. Great seeing everybody. Remind you, there's a lot of new agents here about our Real Call program. So we'll actually get your borrowers into underwriting before they actually have a property. So keep us in mind for that. And I think Sean wants to talk about a couple upcoming events that we have. Absolutely. So Bill Gray talked about mentors. I've got one, Aaron Hodson. He was the #1 real estate agent in all of Australia. He's actually doing 2 classes specifically for RE/MAX Fund properties only. The first one is next Friday, and it's on the 30-day business plan. If you guys haven't heard this guy talk, he's amazing. So there's only about 25 seats available for that one. And then we're going back the following week in here.
The 9th, February 9th.
Sorry, not the following week, but yes, in here for a dedicated class. It's going to be amazing. The flyers are on your seat. I highly recommend you guys do it. It'll change your real estate.
What is it?
If you plan on coming to the February the 9th, you can see how many seats that we have. So we are kind of limited, but if you're going to do that, please RSVP with either Jason or Sean. Okay, so they have a number.
What is the class?
It's
fair housing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in there. So he's going to give you. He's a wonderful speaker. So I've heard him speak twice. He really does know what he's talking about. Old Republic is Tara here. All right. Security with Jackie Whitney. State Farm, Jeremy Mueller, and Stewart, Julie LaRaza. All right, I'm done then. Dell Rounds.
Oh, I thought Sandy was up. All right.
Nope, I'm going to give you the
Okay.
mic next.
All right. So just a couple of quick things. You guys all have 2018 business planning, right? Take a moment and reflect on last year. Preferably, you want to go through every cell that you had and categorize it on where it came from. All right? You can't you can't vision where you're going to go unless you see where you've been. All right? So the reason why that's important is if you don't write your goals down, the chances of capturing a goal this year is very minimal. You need to look at it, you need to breathe it, you need to put it in places that you see constantly to remind you what you're doing. Almost on an hourly basis, guys. Remember, we work 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day, and it's amazing how that time frame flies, if you're not focused. So if you look at page 3, this is a Mike Ferry thing. It's on the internet. You know, I don't reinvent the wheel. A lot of this stuff is out there, but look how they break it down hourly. And if you look at my business planning, all mine is a bunch of squares that you put on your desk and you just X as you make calls, because your outreach will dictate how much money you're going to make this year, period. I mean, it's really that simple. One of the articles I read this morning and last night was to break your year down into weekly or quarterly basis. All right? There's 4 quarters in a football game. After every football game, there's a timeout period, right? Where the quarterback runs over the sideline. How we doing? What do we need to do? The ground game's working. The passing game isn't. The people are all over me. What is yours going to look like on a quarterly, weekly, hourly basis? And if you break it up into those little micro feedback systems, that's the reason why Matthew, where's Matthew?
He had to stay until he gets some stuff done.
That's a reason why Matthew on a quarterly basis sends you guys all your production numbers. It's a pause, right? But break it. I can't believe today's already the, what is it? 17. Holy crap. Like, where did that go, right? The other good article that I read, as you push forward to this year, is launch. Launch everything. Put it out there. You can't wait for systems to be perfect. It ain't gonna happen. It's amazing the text that I get on a daily basis. What do you drop off at the door again? You know, what do you give clients, right? Give them a card. It's not, Bill Gray's exactly right. It's the way you're gonna make them feel at that moment of truth versus what you hand them. They're not gonna read it. I find that to be a procrastinating move. I think it freezes you to say the system's not ready yet. I can't do it. It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect, guys. Just go. Just go. Launch. So 2018, in my opinion, the word should be launch. Go. All right, so listen, we have had some great hurdles. I don't know if you guys have heard. 200, Sandy, where's Sandy? Oh, geez. It came from over there. You got a mic on you? 205 agents.
Correct.
205 agents. 2009, we were at 118. 2009, we did about 400 million. We did $1 billion. So let me tell you how that happened. Yeah. Look to your left and right. That's because of everybody's production. 1,128,000. And listen how we got there. We actually finished at 976 million.
In sales.
In sales. Matthew, how can we get to $1 billion? So Matthew starts saying, well, wait, that doesn't include rentals. So if you do a $5,000 a month lease, that's equivalent to a $60,000 sale. Would everybody agree? Yeah, it is, right? Because you get paid on the lease amount. So Matthew went back and added all those, and it came up with...
And property management. Don't forget about that.
Oh yeah, and property management, and it put us over $1 billion. So now we're fighting with RE/MAX International to give us the $1 billion year work. No other RE/MAX in Arizona has ever done it.
Wow.
Yeah. It absolutely. I mean, it makes me. Honestly, guys, when I wake up in the morning, I can't believe it.
I'm going to give you an amazing statistic. So there's a program called Brokermetrics, and all it does is MLS sales. So it doesn't count new home sales and things like that. In this Brokermetrics in Armless, right? So it's the greater Maricopa County. We are an office, as an office. So Russ Lyon, for example, has 18 offices. Realty Exec has 23 offices. HomeSmart has 4 billion offices. Only 5 offices, not companies, only 5 offices in the entire Maricopa County in the Armless system has achieved over $1 billion. Wow. Just think about that as an office, not as a company.
Yeah, when I was at lunch yesterday, the guy I was with, there's all kinds of things I hear about our company that aren't in our company, that other people are talking about. We have more people in the top 50 than any other company. If you look at the RE/MAX 100, we have, now this is across the country, we have 3 people in the top 100. No other company in the country in RE/MAX has 3 people in the top 100. And 4, we might have made 4. There's somebody else right on.
I'll have to check.
Okay, all right. Anyway, the statistics go on and on and on and on, and it's because of you guys. And one of the biggest successes last year was our mentoring program. It's everybody else taking on one more agent that's going to pay it forward. And it's absolutely stunning. The growth is phenomenal. I have a lot of projects on my plate. We're busting at the seams for office space. I should have made a commitment in December, but it's weird. I mean, here you got Amazon, right? That say no brick and mortar, right? And then they go out and buy Whole Foods. Right. What's a guy like to do? Then you got millennials that don't want any office space, and then you got old farts like me that want to sit in an office and drink coffee and mingle and do some work and then get up and use the restroom, right? It's absolutely crazy on how I'm going to maneuver for this company, and I'll tell you, this 2018 is going to be very important on stressing out on where we go, right? Do I take the plunge and buy a $2 million, $3 million office building, and then everybody decides to home office because they can do it right out of their car and brick and mortar is not? It's scary times to maneuver. And you guys have that same stuff. Do you go digital? Do you door knock? Do you go mass marketing? Do you do luxury home magazine that's extremely expensive? How do you capture these things? Where do you go, right? So come to business planning. We got some great things. Every Thursday at 10 a.m., we have the Fidelity Training Center, really nice. We have more than enough space now. We're not packed at the seams at the office. So we're looking at, like this room. You can see as we eliminated this space, we needed it today, right? Or we would have been in trouble. So we'll be forecasting all that. Today I was a little late. I couldn't get out of my neighborhood.
Oh, I know.
But 4th Street was closed.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's a freaking madhouse where all these people come from. Bill didn't give one other stat. I got the 7 million. I got the 34.9. We are growing at 225 people a day, and I bet it's 275. I'd love to know the number of what we're growing on a per day basis right now. But it's pretty phenomenal. It's a great time to be an agent in Arizona.
Great time.
So what's that?
Great time to be RE/MAX.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I have to tell you, I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They have billboards all over Tulsa, Oklahoma. It says RE/MAX, not an office. It says RE/MAX closes a deal every 30 seconds. So
we had that sheet. Did it not get out?
It's out there.
Where is it?
On the chairs.
In the magazine.
No, I know, but I tried. Thank you.
Yeah, it
All right, that should. Okay, so thank you. Can I borrow that? All right. So every time you come to an office meeting, you're gonna get. I get this all the time. How do I build a listing presentation? You build it by coming to these meetings and then putting this in a book and developing a presentation. My presentation cannot be yours. Yours has to be yours because it's personalized, right? That's what makes you the great salesperson. But add this in there and cover it. So we did 1 billion. If you add all of the owners' offices, where I think we got 39 offices, maybe 40 now in the valley. If you added up all of our production, people need to hear this. If you added up all of our production, we dwarf everybody. And it's not even close. People need to hear that. It's not even close, guys. Game over, 55-0. Not even a game. People need to hear that. Selling a house every 30 seconds. 113 countries. 110,000 sales associates. 39 offices, and show them these graphs. I give them out to you guys, but develop your listing presentation so it's sharp. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., I'm going over a listing presentation at Business Plan if you guys would like to come. So Push yourself this year. There's a lot of engagement, a lot of great things going on. Things are changing fast. Bill Graves is phenomenal. We will push. Maybe we can get Judy Lowe again this year. So we will push for top speakers because the company's grown beyond me. It really has. And we're gonna push, we're gonna continue to push ourselves to bring you a better product. So that's our vision.
Thank you, Dale.
Yeah.
Bill, question, is there a reason why, because I've been seeing a lot of staff where so-and-so's number one, we're always in there, but a lot of times not number one. Is there a reason why we don't advertise as?
Yeah, you know, Jamie Schertz, is Jamie here? So Jamie Schertz has made a good,
In fact, in the next couple of weeks, I don't know if I'm their biggest fan, but International has grouped together with us to give us graphs for, I push for our office to have all RE/MAXs in Phoenix, Scottsdale area, as well as Northern and Tucson, because we beat everyone by billions. But because we're independently owned, we don't come together, but we've met with the other offices to come together. So
yeah, and Jamie's been instrumental in that. Like, she tries to reach out to the other RE/MAX owners to chip in some ad funds where you can advertise that. But we will, Jamie, let's make that a priority. Let's see if we can get a graph for 2017 in all 39 of our RE/MAX offices in Arizona, and then compare that to other brands and maybe throw out a bar graph somewhere.
we have it coming within the next week.
Okay, all right. So we'll get that to you guys, but it's a game changer because it's not. It's actually a joke that we don't come together like that. And I look at Prosky in the room, you know, because you were an owner. And I don't know why we do that. I think it's the egos of the owner just try to stay in their bubble and it's all about them. RE/MAX International obviously cares about it, but we as local owners just, we compete against each other.
Well, in addition, when you see the book of lists that'll come out probably in the springtime, you know, by far you see HomeSmart, you know,